how's it going? Laura with Garden Answer. We are on Mackinac Island for the Grand Garden Show, and I'm here with Jack Barnwell from Barnwell Landscape and Garden. He is the designer of many of the gardens on this island, like 200.
We have over 200 clients here on Mackinac Island.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's agreed to take us through one of his gardens here and kind of explain some things about the house and how the gardens have evolved. So take us through.
Take her away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go right into this beautiful little gate here. And yeah, this garden, this is called Stroh Cottage. We're right next to the Grand Hotel, the beautiful, iconic summer resort here on Mackinac Island. And this is the first cottage on the West Bluff. The West Bluff, this is all state park property. All of these are leased homes that the owners of the homes have 99-year leases. They can pass on to generation and such, but they don't own the property. So there's a lot of restrictions on what they can do, not only with the architectural details and work on the house and such, but also in the garden. So all of our landscapes on the West Bluff and the East Bluff of Mackinac Island have to be approved by the state park. This one underwent a huge renovation about 3 or 4 years ago. We started in on this.
This garden's only 3 or 4 years old.
Correct. Yeah. Every single thing you see was is more or less fresh planted.
Wow.
We started with a complete blank slate on this whole landscape here. So the front, like for example, the previous owners had a bunch of large trees blocking the view, and it just wasn't the formal kind of clean-cut, colorful West Bluff look whatsoever. So we, added in all these new beds, did this beautiful walkway. In fact, this walkway, this is the original brick that was here on the cottage, and the original brick walkway, and we found it. It was underneath about 3 inches of grass, soil and grass and everything, buried underneath there, and we scraped this all out, had to tear it all up and relay it. But that's how we kind of figured how the historic layout of this walkway and everything is. And this whole front landscape really was designed around the original entrance into the house.
Do you know how old this home is?
Yeah, this one was built in the late 1880s, about 1888, 1889. This cottage was built, and really much of the West Bluff was the late 1880s and 1890s.
Interesting.
They didn't have the technology and power tools and all those things that we do today, so they took a little bit longer. Some of these homes, took 4, 5, even 6 years to construct, and they're still being worked on like constantly to this day. But yeah, and this is one of my favorite gardens though on the island. I love the way this one flows through here, just the cadence of the seasonal blooms that come and go, with the hydrangeas all in peak form right now, of course. But there's a lot of really great treats, even in the spring, with all the bulbs and everything through here. And when we started, there was nothing. This whole side, there was not a single blade of grass.
So
even.
all of this built up, all the rock wall, everything was done.
New.
Wow.
3 years ago. All the trees, everything. There was a 50-foot tall cedar hedge all the way along this whole property line.
Wow.
And it was so dark that not a single blade of grass would even grow. So yeah, obviously we took the hedge out, opened it up, lightened it up quite a bit, and now we have this meandering path through the lawn that takes you up to this stone staircase. And this staircase, it's lit and everything at night. Really beautiful. Just to look up through there is super inviting, right? But
yeah.
It used to be just a 2-track like gravel road up to their barn, because they have horses and a barn, and historically there's always been a barn behind all these old beautiful cottages. But this one was such a washout of gravel from years and years of just kind of being ill-maintained, and all the water from all the way up on that whole hillside would rush down and underneath the cottage.
Oh my word.
And when we started on this one, we opened this side little access door, which at the time was like all rotten and falling apart. And there was 2 feet of water underneath the whole house. And it had just done that for probably like 50 years.
Oh my
It had just been flooding. And so anyway, the house underwent a major renovation and tune-up at the same time that the landscape and gardens did. I just love the way like the hostas and all the ground cover and stuff play with each other, and the colors of the foliage and textures of everything are just
beautiful.
Awesome.
It's beautiful.
And as complex and crazy as this garden looks, it looks like there's so much going on. This is a very, very low maintenance garden. You know, once it's packed this full with all these ground covers and everything like that, there's really no weeding to be done. You know, we trim at the trees and kind of, you know, keep things clean and such, but it's not like your constant maintenance kind of a garden whatsoever.
Do you have a favorite ground cover, like something you use all over the place?
I love sweet woodruff. It's just so precious and dainty. And up here in northern Michigan, our summers are a little bit cooler and it doesn't seem to fry out or anything. The little stars of foliage stay green and beautiful and lacy all summer. It does burn out a little toward the very end of summer, but we often will underplant it under hosta, astilbe, ferns and brunera and stuff, other shade-loving plants that will, you know, just come up and cover it when it's burning out. So,
what zone is Mackinac Island?
Mackinac Island has a lot of topography. So it up here on the bluff, we're probably more like zone 4 safely.
Oh, okay.
Right down on the water, where the water protects from a lot of frost and stuff like that, we can get away with some zone 5.
Okay.
You know, plants. We have some magnolia trees and some things like that that are quite stunning, but they just wouldn't do up here.
Sure. It's really quite amazing that gardens look like this, and I've seen pictures and heard stories of what winters are like on this island, and it's just wild to think that all of these things survive and do as well as they do. Because tell us a little bit about the winters here.
It's cold. It's rough. I used to live here year-round, and there are many, many days of just, you know, hibernation when you find a good book and you just settle in, because it can be -40, -50 with the wind chill, and it freezes right up and everything, and puts all these gardens right to sleep for sure, which is good for gardens. A lot of these plants need a hard frost. They need to go through that period of time to be as beautiful as they are in the summer.
Sure.
But it's tough on all these old cottages. I mean, they are constantly being maintained. All these old wooden painted faces are exposed to so many elements that they have to be scraped, painted, you know, and tuned up pretty well on a regular basis. The West Bluff especially, most of these homes, one whole side of them is painted every single year.
Wow.
So
they just get nailed.
Every 3 or 4 years, the whole house is repainted just constantly. So a lot of maintenance. Yeah.
So I see up there the Hakanakloa right off the bat.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Catches your eye and really it invites you up here. Like, what's going on up here? It's different. It's the only place in the whole landscape we used it.
Oh my goodness.
So it's just a flowy, cool plant. We found this old rotty log way up in the woods back here and laid it into here. And again, this is where that big gravel washout of a road was.
Steep.
And we weaved this stone staircase up through here, planted this all heavy with all these ground covers and such, and then rebuilt all these old stone walls. All these were here. We rebuilt them and restacked them with all the original stone on the original foundations of these 120-year-old stone tiers. When we started this project, they had all collapsed, and you could walk into those upper second-story windows. The soil was burying the entire back of the house, and you could just walk right in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a lot of digging.
Oh, I bet.
That was a lot of digging.
Now, a lot of your stone, it comes from a place, did this come from the island, or did it come from I've heard that you guys use some stone that is very similar to the stone that's native here on the island?
Yeah, all these stone steps anyway are limestone. They're from Wisconsin. They're from a very similar geologic vein as Mackinac Island. So the color is really similar. They patina out and look a lot like our natural limestone that's everywhere, but it's a lot harder. So our natural stone here has a lot more porosity to it, so it breaks apart and things like that. There are some stone quarries in the northern Michigan area, but we don't really use a lot of that because it just doesn't hold up.
Sure. Now these are beautiful, huge pieces of stone. And on this island, like I've said in other tours, there are no vehicles, like no trucks, nothing like that. So a lot of this stuff is done like
By hand, yeah.
Muscles.
This entire landscape was built by hand, absolutely the old-fashioned way. All this material, all these stones, everything was brought on site by horse. The horses drop everything off, and we use big, dollies and wheelbarrows and shape and put this whole thing together.
That's amazing. Now this view is stunning.
Yeah.
That is stunning.
Yeah, those are the old tiers and everything like that, and we're clearing off and cleaning a spot at the very top to put a really charming little gazebo.
Oh.
We have the stone staircases already in, and that will be a gazebo, little eagle's nest up there that has a view out over the cottage of the water.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah, it'll be a treat.
Do you have favorite plants that you use?
Oh gosh, yes, I have many
favorite plants.
I do.
If you had to do like three favorite plants that you use continuously through landscape, what would you say they are?
I love astilbes. Astilbes and brunera are fantastic, and like I said, sweet woodruff. Those are probably my 3 favorite shade, filler kind of plants that are just stunning, and they all go together really well. In the full sun, hydrangeas, of course. And being on Mackinac Island, I have to throw at least a handful of lilacs into every single landscape. So we use a lot of different varieties of lilac and stuff like that. We've been really hot on the new bloomerang series from Proven Winners because, again, we can trim them back a little bit right after they bloom. We get a whole nother flush of blooms, and people are like, "Are those lilacs?" Because they're blooming in
in the
August.
wrong time. Yeah.
Which is really fun, and they make a great cut flower with their long, stem and foliage, or the fragrance is just awesome.
It is a nice fragrance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does this belongs to this house here?
Yeah, it was just this was like a just rotten mess when we started, but it was just a storage shed kind of shack. It's got really interesting windows. If you look through, all these windows are original, and on the back side there, all that really detailed stained glass work and stuff was really odd for a West Bluff home to have that kind of detailing on a shed. So we restored it and got it all plumbed up and leveled up again, and now that's a private workout weight room.
Very cool. Yeah.
So the owners can walk up through here at night, which is all lit beautifully at night, get their workout in and everything like that, and then I guess they have to walk back down to the house for a shower.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What a great use.
We haven't put in an outdoor shower yet. I'll put that on my list maybe. But this is the horse paddock that goes with this cottage, and it's this is pretty well how a lot of Mackinac Island horse paddocks look behind all these old cottages and stuff. Some of them, as you can see, the neighbors have a little bit more decorative white, beautiful fence, and others are a little bit more
country.
Country,
I like it.
And it's just totally fine. They keep a horse in here all summer long. She might be in the barn now. Her name is Miss Montana.
Oh. Is she one of the great big? They've got some beautiful horses here on this island. What breed are they? Many of them are
a lot of the big working horses are Percheron, kind of Belgian cross, big old dray draft horses. But hey Dave. But many of the riding horses that or kind of recreational horses that a lot of our clients have, it's been really popular recently to all have Friesians.
Friesians.
Yeah, so many of my clients have Friesians, and they are beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Unbelievable. Just pure, glossy black, and the way they, prance about and carry themselves is stunning. They're a great carriage horse, but they're also a really, fantastic riding horse. They stand really well. They're friendly, and very trainable. So they've kind of been the new Mackinac Island,
And I read that there are 500 horses on the island, approximately over 500.
In the peak part of summer, there's up to 550, even 600 horses, which is more than there are year-round residents.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how many year-round residents? 600-ish?
They say there's 450 to 500, but in a cold winter, I think it's more like 300. People get the heck out of here. But there are some diehards that are here every single winter, and they really are the heartbeat of Mackinac. They keep this whole place
like
working
running.
and going. Because a lot of the big work on all these homes and hotels, you know, all that happens in the middle of the winter. Yeah.
Right, got to do it sometime. And there's
Right.
tons of people that visit this island every single summer season. It seems it's always busy.
This is a major, major national tourist destination. So once summertime hits, it's showtime.
Sure.
You know, everything has to be done, painted, cleaned up, looking stunning. And a lot of these clients that own these private homes, you know, they want to be up here and use these summer cottages.
Sure.
And fortunately, we have, you know, people like this left in the country and in the world that really truly care about historic preservation. They're preserving all these old cottages and structures and still living the Mackinac lifestyle, like keeping the carriages all working and up and horses, and, you know, using these homes and spaces as they were intended from the very beginning. So.
Well, there's some gorgeous color up here.
Yeah, that was a little trial there of what we could do with hydrangeas. The ones on the left were treated with a little aluminum sulfate. To see if we could get them to turn a nice blue. Our natural soil here is very basic. We've got a lot of limestone, a lot of alkalinity in the soil, so typically your macrophylla hydrangeas are going to be pink like that.
Right.
And they're just spilling out of that wall right now, which is awesome.
Yeah,
but,
perfect for the show.
But yeah, and this was just a fun way to show treated and not treated, and we got those to turn pretty nice and blue.
That's amazing. How many treatments do you do to get that, do you think?
That was just one.
Just one?
Yeah, just one kind of sprinkling of aluminum sulfate.
Wow.
It comes in a powder form. A Spoma makes a great, you know, product for it, and yeah, that's all it took. It's just one on those, and they're not as blue as we probably could have got them, but
they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're pretty.
What pH is the island? Like average?
Sometimes you can find pHs even as high as like 8,
Okay.
you know, 8.5,
Wow.
very, very alkaline, which is, you know, dangerously high, and
Right.
and plants will show you and let you know when they're kind of reaching into some of those veins. There's a lot of underwater springs and stuff throughout the island, and if a big tree is planted and it gets some roots down into there, well, there's water in there, and you know, it's sucking some water out, but sometimes that can be really, really limey, and the tree will turn all typically very, very neon yellow. Because it's the pH imbalance is cutting its access to iron, manganese, boron, other nutrients that tree needs.
Right.
And so it'll show you with a deficiency
a nice
like
show
that.
of color.
Yeah.
So now, did you do all of these pathways as well?
This path was laid before my time here on the island and having this company. But we have done a lot of renovations and a lot of work on this property, adding new pathways in and tying into the old, adding a lot of new gardens and stuff like that. There's a few beds here that are just planted and were just created, working around all these old sculptures and walls, and a lot of this stuff has been here for a long time. A lot of these sculptures and pieces have been here for well over 100 years.
Wow.
There's some antique benches and stuff up through here that, you know, we try and feature and show off through the.
I like the islands. They're fun.
Yeah.
A lot of colorful annuals in that one.
Yeah,
oh my
for
goodness,
sure.
it's beautiful. How many annuals do you have any idea how many you've put in this garden?
In this garden alone, well, the front, as you'll see, is really popping and showy. So I bet you there's, if we broke it down into like cases of 10, you know, 4-inch pots, there's probably about 500 cases.
Oh my gosh.
On
See,
this property.
biggest bang for your buck for color is put some annuals in.
Yeah, this one is definitely flush with color. And, you know, an island like that all planted up really, really shows well from the road and from the entry when they have guests and things like that. They come in this gate over here, and it just invites them, that color, like,
It draws
what's
you.
going up there? Yeah,
Yeah.
it draws them up into this garden and meander all through the lawn. It's stunning.
It is beautiful.
And you can see a lot of these homes, the architecture on them, all the crazy detail, not only in the shingle work, but the paint work as well. There's many different colors on the home here that, again, takes so much maintenance to keep that all tuned right up like this.
Right.
And all the leaded glass and window work is,
It is
you know,
stunning.
you just don't see work like this being done anymore on any kind of new construction. So it's really special to have it so well maintained like this too.
Preserved for us to see it.
Yeah. We just put this waterfall in, and this actually this whole entire garden we just put in last year. all up through here. This was a solid cedar hedge all through here, and you couldn't even see the water or anything from the house, nor could you see the house across the lawn or anything. So open this right up and put this waterfall meandering through here. It's a really neat kit from Aquascapes.
Oh.
They sell these pondless kits, so the whole water reservoir is underground there. And the homeowners have a remote control for it.
That's cool.
In the house, and they can just turn it up, and it literally will turn up like the volume of water. So at night it echoes all through the house and the bedrooms, and yeah, it's sweet.
Pretty easy to set up then?
Very easy. Yeah, you order those kits and every single thing comes in a box.
Wow.
Yeah, they really.
We need to look into one of those, Aaron.
I know. They have it dialed in. It's really cool. Yeah.
Wow, so we've made a loop kind of around another home here.
Yeah, we just looped up through Stroh Cottage and came down through West Wind Cottage. The front of West Wind is one of my favorites. Just such cool detailing up there, those little curves and everything up in that upper screen porch. And then again, of course, the iconic Grand Hotel. Even that face of the hotel is not exactly ugly to look at.
Nope. I wouldn't complain about that. Not at all. And then the views, of course. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, the Straits of Mackinac, all that fresh water is a real treat for sure. We're very fortunate to live and work up here. Absolutely.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for touring us through these gardens. I know that you guys probably really enjoyed seeing all of the beautiful color, all the beautiful plants, and hearing from the man who is behind all the designs. So thank you so much.
You bet.
We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.